Now, I will be sharing everything that we're doing at Linkedist, what is connected with AI, and some of our examples that we have done with our clients. So I hope you're ready for the ride. And before we jump in, I also wanted to mention that all the things that you're seeing in the slides, all the visuals are generated with AI. So none of the visuals were, made by a designer. All right, so now we know that just like everybody today, I will also start with some data. So over 80% of marketers are actually using AI tools for marketing, and sometimes you don't even know that you're using those tools that are actually have some kind of AI within them. And before I go into some of the examples, I actually wanted to show you a few reasons why using these tools is a good thing. Because when I've been talking with some people, I often hear that, what if it kills our creativity, or what if it's, if it's not helping and it's actually generating a lot for you? Well, there are a few reasons why AI tools are good. So I will be on that side today. First of all, it promotes divergent thinking, right? So this was something that Harvard Business Review published in the latest issue. And they talked in the article actually about combining the ideas that maybe don't combine in our heads in the first place. So let's say you take a refrigerator and then you're not thinking that you can combine it with a butterfly, right? So in this case, you see like a leopard with some feathers behind, or you see like a monkey with some butterfly ears behind it. So as you can see, it's all about divergent thinking. And another thing that I wanted to show you is that it took me 2 minutes. 2 minutes to make this image, right? So of course there were like a few generations that I have done, but it takes not that long to actually make cool images, visuals, something that you can use for your presentations, for clients and whatnot, right? So as you can see, this was very fast, and another way I was trying to find like a creative way of showing something off, right? So instead of just having an animal, I actually had an animal that had something that maybe doesn't belong with it. All right, then another thing I wanted to show you was that actually AI will help us with co-creation, and there's a co-creation evolution happening right now. So as you can see here, I've generated some images. These models are obviously not real, and as you can see, they're all promoting Sun 365. So as you can see, this is a great way to bring some creativity into your campaigns. And also, it took me maybe 10 minutes to create this. So if you do, as a brand, want to be more creative, and for those who are working in agencies, if you want your clients to feel like you're going the extra mile, there's actually a lot that you can do with different tools. And here, of course, I used Midjourney. In this example, I wanted to ask you, which companies do you think are being represented on these AirPod cases? So the first one. Barbie, yes. I hear Carolina, Barbie. Yes, here probably obvious, right? What about the third one? Oh yes, Oxy Labs. Okay. That's, I was thinking if you guys are gonna see it or not. But yeah, exactly. Oxy Labs, and the third one or the fourth one, Marvel, right? So again, this took me like 4 minutes to make these examples, and there are lots of ways how you can be creative and show to your clients that, hey, actually, you can do so many more things. Like you can create cases for your AirPods, and this is how it could look like. It doesn't have to look like this, but you can make quick mock-ups and show them what they could expect. So a lot of good things that you can do very fast, and especially when it comes to creativity. And finally, create unimaginable solutions. So if you are not really imagining the future or how things can look like in the future, and if you're working, for example, with motorcycles, you can say, I want to see a motorcycle in 2050, how it will look like. And then you can generate many different varieties of motorcycles. You can say, how will the urinals look like in 2050, right? And this is what, Midjourney thinks they will look like, but again, this kind of gives us a little bit of an idea, okay, so where do we want to go? How can we create more creative solutions, and something maybe that we don't even imagine. All right, and then when we're talking about business strategies, so here I focus mostly on marketing, but AI is used in all of these different fields already, right? And I think we covered pretty much most of them today during the different presentations. But what about the future somewhat already happening, right? So because I'm always afraid to say future because sometimes you hear somebody from the back of the conference room screaming like, hey, it's already happening now. So yes, some of it is happening now already, like human-AI collaboration, which is happening through AI tools, and hyper-personalization. David, Kotryna, Thomas, they all talked about it, and it's what we will see. Even last week I was in Thailand, and we were taking a boat drive, and I asked the boat driver a little bit about the weekend's concert, how the prices were back then, and he actually told me that, you know what? And I asked him like, oh, did you raise up the price yourself, or was it like done automatically? And he said that people are the ones that are raising the prices themselves. And I said like, okay, can you elaborate a little bit? And he said, well, basically, if a person opens an app and you want to order a cab, and if you then close the app and then open it again, the price is going to be higher. And then if you open it for the third time, it will be double or triple the price. So this is not what the drivers do. This is actually people do it for themselves. And eventually, at the end of it, you're so exhausted of everything that you just want to get home and you pay the highest price. So everything is being personalized in one way or another, whether that's through visuals, whether that's through your rides on Bolt or anywhere else. And I just wanted to show you a few tools today that we're using as an agency for better and more efficient work, and some of the examples that we have done for our clients. So buckle up. First of all, we're using Zyro. Yeah, shout out Lithuanian company. Zyro AI, of course, they have like lots of different functions. One of them is logo maker, another one is AI writer, and then they have AI heat map. So we're using the last one the most, but it definitely helps, and it costs really like nothing. So you can start there if you want to analyze your websites and see like how things are placed in your website, like where people are mostly looking at. Then another tool that we tried on Slack, and of course there are lots of different integrations, but we're trying Cloud, and it helps with different things around planning and assisting with tasks. We are not too deep into it yet, so I cannot give like 100% feedback on it, but there's like lots of AI integrations for those who are working on Slack, with Slack. Another thing, of course, ChatGPT, the one that we talk the most about, can help with content strategies, copy, a lot of different things, and you probably know it. But the fact is that even if we write something with ChatGPT, we always check it with a real human. And then, we can see what makes sense, what doesn't, adjust it, and we never, ever give like fully ChatGPT written content to any of our clients. It's just a way to start an idea, and then let's see where we go from it. I actually myself experimented with some ChatGPT written posts on LinkedIn, and I posted them. I think it took me a while to just like make sure that they don't look entirely like ChatGPT posts, but people did engage and they were quite happy commenting and whatnot. So I'm not doing that anymore, but for the research purposes, it was fun to see. Grammarly Go, for those who are using Grammarly, especially for non-native speakers, I think it's a really good improvement. So again, to accelerate your writing process, Grammarly Go is a really good tool. Photoshop AI, so you can remove your team members if you want to, but basically it helps with anything, right? So removing, extending, adding images, removing some objects, and even changing the background, right? So that's exactly what we have been experimenting with. And of course, the lovely Midjourney that we're using for most of our clients for the visuals, especially the clients that want to experiment. Because I know this and my colleagues know this story, but we have one client, not gonna name names, but you know, sometimes what we experience is that some clients are more controversial when it comes to AI, and when something looks so good to us, and when we create a visual or a blog and it looks amazing, and we're like so happy because now we're gonna show this, you know, for example, let's take Vytautas or Sun 365, let's say, imagine there you could create a visual where a person is jumping off the plane with a parachute and is holding Vytautas bottle, or M365, right? Sun 365, sorry. And that's the idea we came up with, but not all brands are actually open to it. And the idea was rejected, even though we loved it. All right. And now I will show you how it looks in practice. Mostly it will be visual content because, let's face it, you know, with copies and everything else, it could be a little bit boring for you to watch. So I will stick with visual content instead. So, for example, you have already seen OSS, our beautiful client, and Dave just gave a shout out to them. Funny enough, these people, okay, let's start with some history. These people, they work with welding. I mean, that's not so sexy whatsoever. I mean, if you think about it, like welders, engineering, people working in factories. But those people and these people from this company, they were actually one of the most open people ever. And they said, yes, come on, let's do it. And you know, for all the celebrations like National Day of Sweden, that the company is standing with Ukraine, Happy Constitution Day Norway, we have done super personalized posts. And all the visuals were very much personalized to the region. So they loved it, we loved it, and also the audience loved it. Another client that we have comes from finance field, and actually, like showing off finances on LinkedIn and trying to think of creative material doesn't sound so interesting. So it would usually be graphs, tables, text, you know, nothing so interesting. So what we thought about, okay, why not to show on a National Finance Day or on another celebration, why not to show finance people trying to do their Excel calculations while being on a surfboard or in the mountains or somewhere else, and say that if you work in finance, you can work from anywhere. So this was the campaign that we executed as well with the client. Another client that we had, Detro Solar, they work within the solar energy field, and again, you know, for them, like, we were able to generate all these images, and if you don't look closely, or if you don't know, actually you're not aware that this is not a photo. This was generated with Midjourney mostly, and also this one here, right? We really love this generation because, again, we wanted to show off like Ukrainian flag and all the things, all the efforts that they were doing around supporting of Ukraine. So this is another way for us to be more creative rather than just talking to our client and asking, hey, do you have a photo? Hey, did you take a photo during your last client meeting, right? And usually they say, no, sorry, we didn't. And then we come up with these creative solutions to actually show off their brand. Okay, another client from Lithuania, they actually work with sustainability and environmental services. So again, working within such industry, it sometimes gets hard to show off what, you know, a world could look like, or what does it mean, or even imagine some creative scenarios. So for them, as you can see, we've chosen like a very environmental friendly way of showing the world in the future, where there's lots of grass. Hopefully this is how it will look like as well. But this is how we get to be more creative. And these are some of our examples. So, for example, we wanted to generate, and you see some of these people here today, and we wanted to generate some images where we show off our team's hobbies, or we just show off our team. And this was what we came up with. Real pictures are next to the not real ones. Then we also asked, for example, for the Easter celebration, we asked our teammates to create visuals themselves, or actually give prompts to the images that they want to have created. And this is what it looked like, how each of our team members imagine Easter. And they, as you can see, some of them are imagining like Elon Musk. So other ones are imagining like a office bunny, working there. And yeah, it's a very different scenarios, but this is fun, right? This is why I really like creative examples. And one of the final examples we have, for example, comes from when we were looking for a new person to join our team. And we wanted to show off, what it means to work at Linkedist and also what it means to be a salesperson at Linkedist. And then we also wrote some different things that the person should have. And again, a super creative way to post a job posting instead of just saying, hey, we're looking for this and that person. And one of the final examples, we did this video where we also using AI software showed off our team members, and we were taking videos in different places where we were to have more creative content. And then a month later or so, I'm seeing like this popular singer, Grimes, who is using the exact same effects for her latest video. So as you can see, it's not only just that we are here are able to use these tools, but it's people all around the world, and it's amazing to see that the people that are having huge audiences are also using these tools. So, if we're talking about the different tools that we have tried or that we recommend, I think this is the slide you want to take a screenshot of if you don't want to wait for the slide decks. But basically, these are some additional, and also the ones I already mentioned, tools that you can use for different purposes. So, for example, even for watermark removals, like if you download maybe this is not ethical, I don't know, but now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like realizing it. But there are some different softwares that you can try, and I mean, again, they're out there, we're experimenting with them. Voice recordings, marketing tactics, image quality improvement, let's enhance, a lot of cool things, slide creation, idea generation, logo creation and whatnot, right? So again, I think what I wanted to show with my presentation, which was very practical and just showing what we're doing, is that already now all of you can start creating more interesting material because it's really at our fingertips. So you don't have to go far, you don't have to try to take a course, but actually you can generate a lot of things yourself without too much knowledge. And I think that basically concludes my presentation. A few keywords, a few takeaways that I wanted to mention is that AI can increase creativity, and just like Yulia said, I think it depends like how you will use it. That's exactly the way. Then we have divergent thinking, and I think this will be like becoming more and more popular of a term to use. It saves time and increases effectiveness for all of the clients and companies. Also, its ability to surprise your client. Like if a client is expecting for you to do 1 visual or 4 visuals, and then you come up with like 10 or 15 visuals, client is going to be surprised in a good way. Personalization from the agency side, what you saw with our OSS client, Norway, Sweden, all the other countries where you can personalize content. Bigger services scope, because if you start using these creative tools, you can offer more as well. And fun. It's just fun, because a lot of the times when we're using different tools or when we're not professionals, it can be like a really tiring journey to actually start doing something. So for example, if I would go and try to Photoshop something tomorrow, it would probably take me such a long time to be good at it. But if I use Midjourney, it takes me 2 minutes to be really creative and have a lot of fun. So I hope these are some of the takeaways that you can take with you. And before we jump into everything, also talk with my team that I should mention that we have these ebooks they're not connected with AI. So this is just a direct promotion, sorry guys. But if you do want to learn more about LinkedIn, this is where you have it. And also we will be sending the slides to the ones that registered to this event and actually submitted your email. Then we can find you. If you don't get it, you can write me or my team members a message on LinkedIn and we'll send you the slides. So this is what I had for my part and I hope you liked it.